Happy Friday, everyone, and happy snow day. I was just telling Robert here, we have 11 inches of snow here in good old Lincoln, Nebraska. Low of -20 tomorrow, high of -6. There is no place like Nebraska. Do not visit me. I have an open door policy if anyone ever wants to come visit me in Lincoln, Nebraska, but don't do it in the winter, okay? Come in the spring or the fall. Summer, it gets actually pretty hot. Do not come right now. But if you do, I'll still let you in. But it will be miserable for you. But we are here today with Robert, affectionately known as Crypto Sensei. And that is not just a nickname. He's been knighted with that name by the community just for the amount of work that he puts into knowing crypto, to keeping track of what's going on. Again, I'm always so thankful, even for these little catch-ups here, because it informs me. Like, I should just put Robert on solo mode and then I'll just kind of sit in the audience as well. But we want to hear, again, we're on the cusp of a bull market, possibly already in the bull market. Cryptonaires has been going crazy with some of the altcoins that you guys have been talking about. So I want to hear a little bit about that. Before I even let Robert say anything, I like to monologue for a bit. But audience, good to see you guys as well. I don't do as many live videos as I used to. And the worst part is I don't get to talk to you guys as much. So actually tomorrow at, I think noon Central Time, I'm just going to do an AMA. Just ask me anything. We can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So come join me for that. That will be tomorrow. I think Tycho's getting that set up. I'll double check on that for sure. But Robert, let's go ahead and start with introductions from you. Again, I think most of my audience knows you. In fact, all my audience knows you. But for any who are watching who are not part of the James Pelton community, please introduce yourself.
I'm Robert Doyle. Crypto Sensei is the name I've been dubbed by some of my community many years ago, and that kind of stuck, and I ran with it. I do spend all of my free time learning and understanding new avenues around the digital asset space. And I've got a great community, Cryptonaires, where we have a team of about 15 people, and we have just an incredible amount of just, I would say, battle-hardened people that have been in the crypto space for many years and know what they're doing. And so you have just a community where people are sharing ideas and sharing information. And I really couldn't be anywhere close where I am today without the hard work of that community and all those people and my team. So yeah, man, I'm happy to be here with you, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about. It's been a crazy week. I am exhausted because we got the ETF approved this week. But just like I thought, so it was kind of like a sell the news event. And I put a tweet out on the 10th, and I said this. I said January 10th. I said the Bitcoin ETF trade is coming to an end. Be prepared for a massive amount of sells. You should be focused on the next trade, which is Ethereum and Solana ETFs. And those will be here before you know it, as well as probably an XRP ETF. And so I got a little bit of flack from a few people about that tweet. And if you look at Bitcoin right now, we're sitting right around 43,700. We're down on the last 24 hours. We're down 5.7% on Bitcoin. So, just as kind of we thought and we imagine, we've been talking about this at length in the Cryptonaires community. I do 2 chats a week where we sit down and we look at everything that's kind of going around the market right now and what to expect. What things to look out for. And this was one of the things that we were prepared for. So, it's not a big surprise, but I'm thankful that the ETF is here, because that is going to unlock trillions of new dollars that are going to come into the crypto space. It's going to unlock a lot of new investors that we've never had before in the crypto space, all being able to buy, Bitcoin through their brokerage and market accounts, which is very powerful. And I do think that's going to be the start of really something transformative for all of us, especially here, that we can buy in the spot market before institutions can buy with these ETFs, which is cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was, anytime everyone thinks something, I've learned, it's probably not going to happen quite the way that you think it's going to happen. And so everybody was talking about, hey, the day these ETFs are launched, we're going to see a 60K Bitcoin the day that these are approved. And so I was kind of thinking, no, we're not. That's just because everybody's saying that that's what's going to happen. I know we're not, because people are going to be taking profits. And in a lot of ways, like you said, you end up seeing the opposite of what everyone thinks is going to happen. because everybody thinks something's going to happen, so they try to outsmart it, then they sell, and you can't predict the markets. Okay, I have given up trying. I've been wrong too many times. I don't try to predict the markets anymore, but I do know long term. Again, I don't try to predict markets short term. I zoom out and think, okay, long term, what does this mean? Like you were saying, it means that businesses are going to be getting into Bitcoin. Retirement accounts. We're going to see IRAs start going into Bitcoin. There's going to be, where was I? Acorns. Acorns is one of those services where it rounds up your purchases to the nearest dollar and then invests it. They just added Bitcoin as one of the options now. So you can choose your portfolio and now you can put some of it into Bitcoin. So we're going to see more and more of that. The future looks bright for Bitcoin, I believe. So going to say hello to a few people. No, go ahead, Robert.
No, the future looks bright for the entire crypto market. The next 3 to 4 years should be an incredible cycle that we haven't seen before. There's going to be a lot of money to be made, but just like in any kind of sector, like the .com sector, right? There's going to be a bust cycle where you're going to have a lot of things that aren't going to be around. And once really regulation comes into effect, we are going to see that kind of stuff. Why don't you say hi to some people? I'm gonna just grab Luna. She's sitting here crying in the hallway. I'm just gonna bring her into the room really quickly and just say hi. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay, no, that sounds awesome. Dane, good to see you, brother. Green Llama, good to see you. I need to just do lives. That's why tomorrow, 12 o'clock, I'm creating the link. I'm a multitasker. I'm creating the link right now. But come join me 12 o'clock tomorrow, Central Time, and we're just gonna chat about some things. But RX Rob, good to see you. Anti-tourist travel. Nice. That's a nice name. Late arriving, but I'm here. Ryan in Iowa. So you probably got a whole bunch of snow too. So we're up to 11 inches and it's still going. So I don't know where we're going to end up at. Let's see.
It was cold here, man. It's 71 in Honolulu and I'm cold. I got to wear jeans outside right now.
Robert, don't even talk to us about 71. And Nebraska gets like 6 days of 70-degree weather in the year, and then it goes from 20 or 10 to 110, and we get the 70. Everybody's outside for those 4 days that we get. So let's see. Scott, not a surprise at all. This was the worst kept secret in crypto. The run up happened over the past 3 months. Yeah, very true. I don't know, Robert, do you have any thoughts on the Twitter hack on the SEC Twitter account the other day also?
So, Twitter's did an investigation. They said that they didn't have 2-factor authentication. I saw that somebody made like $1 million trading on Rollbit, trading that. So I don't know if that was the hacker or whatever was involved. My thing is, like, if you knew it was going to be improved a day later, right? Why wouldn't you just kind of just avoid yourself the congressional subpoena that you're now going to get, and then we're going to demand answers, right? Because obviously, there was some manipulation there, and it does it surprise you that the SEC is at the heart of kind of all of this stuff, right? With Ripple and XRP, suing Coinbase. I mean, we know why they sued Binance, but I don't know, man. I just feel like they are they're supposed to be there to protect investors, and they've cost investors billions and billions and billions of dollars. And I don't think that anybody feels protected at the end of the day. In the United States with the SEC. And so I think that whole government agency needs to kind of have revamped and kind of flush out maybe some of these Gary Genslers and things like that, and just maybe bring in some new people and hopefully they can rebuild their name, because right now it's pretty tarnished across the space. So I'm not surprised, but it is what it is.
Don't get my libertarian roots monologuing out there. I'll get myself into some trouble, but I totally agree. And it's like, the SEC is meant to protect investors, but they don't even have 2-factor authentication on their Twitter accounts. It's like, oh, that would be like one of the first tips that I would give investors is like, get 2-factor authentication on your Twitter account. So.
And that's kind of what we're dealing with, right? We're I don't know, man. I would have just, like, if it was out there, I would have just said, hey, you know what? It's approved, have at it, right? Because if you were watching CNBC, I mean, you had the CEO of VanEck on, I think the day that happened, I think this was like either Tuesday or Wednesday. The CEO of VanEck was out there saying, "Oh yeah, it'll start be trading, on Thursday or whatever." And so, like, we knew it was coming. It just wasn't officially announced by the SEC, And I don't know, man. They could do a lot better job protecting investors, and I just think they do kind of a shit job. But anyway.
Anyways, we digress.
Maybe
they shouldn't have used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 as their password. Scott, that probably would have been a good idea. So what was I watching? I was watching some movie where they had it was Ready Player One. You've seen that, but he has his password on a post-it note that he controls the whole world, but it's on this post-it note. So that's what it reminded me of. So talk to us a little bit. I do want to talk about Biofi Consortium. We will talk about that. Tell us a little bit about altcoins. What have you I know Kryptonaires you've made some good calls in there, made a lot of people some money. Talk about some of your wins, some of the altcoins you're excited about going forward. Tell us a little bit about altcoins.
I think the most exciting win that we've had probably there's been a few, but I want to talk about Zygames, because Zygames was something that was brought into the community by one of our team members, Lawrence. He did a great job finding Zygames. Once I kind of dug in and researched Zygames and kind of understood what it was, I really did push that out into the community and made sure that everybody that could hear my voice knew about it. And they had a node sale on December 7th, and it was actually the biggest NFT sale in Arbitron's history. They had 12 million tries to buy nodes in the first minute. And so nodes started at $300. Today, they're about $2,800, which is about a month later in 4 days. If you bought a node, really, we did a live event inside of Kryptonaires to buy nodes. And so we all got together and tried to buy nodes at the same time. And so I believe my first node I bought was like $370, $380, something in that area. I ended up buying like 28 of them. And if you bought one node, you actually got a free airdrop of about 1,600 tokens. And the token price was about 60 cents. And so just buying the one node paid for the node itself. And it also prepays for basically a year of membership in our community. And then it gives you passive income for the foreseeable future. And so members who got in on that are very happy today, because this is just season 1 of airdrops. There's actually going to be a season 2. And so I made my original investment was about 12 grand. I made 25,000 from the airdrop. And now I have these nodes that'll create passive income for me for the foreseeable future in Zygames. And so realistically, if we're looking at maybe like a 50-cent Zygames, I should make about $700 to $800 per node per month going forward. And if we get to $1, I'll probably make 25 to 30 grand a month from Zygames. And so it really is. Crypto is the opportunity of a lifetime if you can find the right projects that make sense. And this was just one of them that we were very happy to bring to our members, and the people that were able to participate at those low figures have already made their money back. Plus now they have this really decent. $800 a month is nice passive income, right? Per node. $500 a month is passive income. You have, if your rent, your car, your insurance, and all this is, $5-6 grand a month, and you can cover all those bills by really not doing anything and running a VPS. That's really the way that I want to make money. And if I can replicate that and bring that value to our community, that's exactly what we're trying to do at Kryptonaires.
Yep, absolutely. Love that. So can you maybe share with the audience? So how do you find out about something like that? What's your process? I get asked that all the time, is like, how do you know about upcoming projects? And I say, I ask Robert. So what do you do? How do you answer that question?
So honestly, James, I get messages every day by people, and some of it's garbage, and some of it's gold. And I do my own research, but a lot of it comes from people sharing ideas and sharing information. I can't know everything about everything, and so I rely on my team at Kryptonaires. I rely on my community, and it really is a team effort. I can't say that I'm out here doing all of this myself, because I would be lying to you, right? I really do have a lot of help from people. Since I've looked at, thousands of crypto projects now in the last few years, I can kind of see what might be good and what might not be good. Obviously, with in the Zygames example, it was easy to see kind of who created Zygames, the partnerships behind Zygames. We knew that was going to be a pretty big deal when it happened. And so that was kind of an easy thing once we got into the research of it. But a lot of it is time and energy spent and understanding what it is that you're investing in, what could be the possible use case for this, and is this going to be popular, right? Are people going to want to, you know, own these nodes or use this network? And you know, it just turned out on that example it is. Now, if you're asking kind of what is next and what to look for now, is you want to be focused on Ethereum's community. So I'm not a huge Ethereum fan, but I'm wearing my Ethereum to the moon shirt today. You want to be focused on layer 2s around Ethereum. There's a few of them right now that actually they're going to be releasing a token this year, and you can actually be farming those tokens and those airdrops for free just by doing a few things. And I've been sharing a lot of these threads in my community, following the right people on Twitter. You know, and actually taking the time to do this. My goal is to make people at least $1,000 this year just on free airdrops. And so, you know, that's pretty much. It takes a lot of time, a lot of hard work, and a lot of it is from the community working together, man. At the end of the day, you know, they're the ones that really help me be the best version of myself. And without them, I really couldn't get through all of this information that I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you there. So which layer 2s are you most excited about? I know Arbitron's been on a tear here. What are you excited about?
Let me. I got a list for you, James, because I knew that we were gonna have this conversation, and so
I love lists.
Let me. I have so much stuff. So, like, if you're not farming Scroll right now, Scroll I think is going to be a major deal. I can actually share Scroll's Twitter with you guys here. I'm having another chat here just in a little bit. Scroll is one of the projects that I really think. Oh wait, you cannot post this. Let me send it to you, James, and you can
just
post
put it
that
in private chat. I'll put it in there.
Scroll is definitely one of them. Let me pull up the list because I made this list right here. Okay, so
no, ignore that link I just sent for some reason. Okay,
Didn't
ignore
work?
that link I sent. No,
Here,
for some reason when I copy and paste it, it includes open in a new tab. Okay, there we go. Post. Click that link there, guys.
You can even check this out too. Here's a list of what I'm going to go over, so you can actually give that to the people too. So, the biggest things that you should be paying attention to right now, of course, Arbitron, Optimism, Base. You got Era, you got dydx, you have Mantle, of course, you have Immutable, Linea, Starknet, Polygon, ZK EVM, and Scroll. These are kind of the best layer 2 solutions that are going to be either out in 2024 or they're out already, right? So Arbitron, Optimism, I think is out, Base is out, but you have you know, Starknet's coming, Scroll's coming. You can do some stuff right now on New Paradigm. You can actually stake Ethereum, and you can be a part of that airdrop. New Paradigm Mantle is the airdrop. There's a lot of things that you can do right now, actually for very little to no cost. I've been farming the Orbiter airdrop. Let me actually share this with you too, because people can actually go do this right now. You can, let me just pull this up, Orbiter Finance. So you can actually go over to Orbiter, and there's a few things that you can do. It has a list of different things that you can do on Orbiter, bridging money over, or doing different things with your MetaMask that you can actually qualify. And there's a whole kind of list of different things that they want you to do in order to qualify for it. So let me share this with you too. And you can actually, you want to pull this up, James? Pull Orbiter up if you can. That's not Orbiter. Sorry. Orbiter here. This is what I want you to pull up. I apologize. I have 12 freaking windows open. That's what I want you to pull up. No, so pull it up, and then I can kind of walk people through what they should do with this. You might need to connect your wallet, unless you want me to do it.
I can do it.
Yeah, connect your wallet if you can, your MetaMask, and then it should give you a list of tasks that you need to do. Okay, see that? All those points that you can gather right there. So bridge one transaction of any amount from Ethereum to Manta, bridge 2 transactions. So you can actually go through this and earn points, and this can qualify you for an airdrop. Now, you know, some of these networks, they're actually very cheap to transact on, and that's why they're going to be extremely popular. You do need some Ethereum to kind of get started, but some of it's USDC, some of it's Ethereum. But if you kind of go through that, mine reads 457 points. So I've completed every single task in that. But this is just one of those things that people can do to qualify for a future airdrop.
Okay. Awesome.
And
We
so,
love airdrops. I think airdrops are going to be really big here as the bull market starts up. So I've been having a few people on who just talk. All they do is talk about different airdrops that you can do,
yep.
that you can be a part of. So thanks for bringing that to us.
And I want to give you a thread too to share with people, because I've brought this up a few different times in my community. It's the scroll, farming scroll. Let me just share this with you. I know it's in my Alpha Sensei channel. So I share all this. Like in the last few days, I've shared scroll. I've shared stuff about Tia and Cosmos, Layer Zero, Linea. I've shared all these different threads that I find on Twitter to follow, so you can actually qualify for some of this free money, because the Celestia airdrop, I think, was like $10,000 to people that ran validator nodes for that ecosystem before it launched. And so what I'm doing now is I am trying to find some of these networks that have not launched yet, that you can actually run and support nodes on before they launch, and you can actually qualify for a fat airdrop. And that's what I'm actually working on in the background right now.
Okay, very good. So I'm posting that link. And actually, while you take a break for 1 second, I want to pitch your Kryptonaires course, because you guys know I have my own community, right? I have my private community here on YouTube. I also have my passive income engines. But as you can tell just from listening to Robert, we come at things from very different. I don't talk about any of the stuff he's talking about. I have some people in my community that bring some airdrops up and things like that. But if you love crypto, okay, honestly, personally, I'm a little burned out from crypto. It just it has a bad taste in my mouth. I've had a couple airdrops here recently that have made me feel a little better. I've had a couple good trades that have done well. Biofi is up, which has been making me a little bit more excited about crypto here recently. But Robert's your guy if you want to learn more about crypto. So he has Kryptonaires. And again, I'm going to encourage you all, if you have never done, at least do the 7-day free trial. Check out the Discord and just see, hey, is this something that I would want to be a part in? $50 a month. One of these airdrops will probably pay for it for a year, honestly. Or, one of these calls that he's made, like the game one or Gala Games, when he called that back in the day, any of these calls would pay for it for years. So I would encourage you to just go check it out. $50 a month if you're doing anything in crypto that's not very much. So at least try the 7-day free trial. So, and I don't want Robert to pitch himself. I'll do it for him because I think it's worth it. If you love crypto, you're not going to get it from me. Robert on my channel is about the most into crypto that I get these days. So go check out Robert.
Part of people, don't want to pay money to be a part of community, and that's fine, right? But I pay a team of individuals that are working every single day to find, trades, to find node projects, to find different passive income strategies, to find airdrops, to find ordinals. We just partnered with Crypto Kingdom or DeFi Kingdom. I think it's Crypto Kingdom, excuse me. But Cam has a whole team. He had an airdrop specialist. He posts stuff about ordinals. I mean, this new layer 2 that's coming out with Bitcoin, and there's a lot of things happening on Bitcoin. We have all of that information too, right? And so it depends on, do you want to sit in a place where all of this information is put right in front of you in an easy to consume place, or do you want to spend all the time to go out and find it yourself, right? And so if you feel like, if you found Zygames yourself, you're doing really well. But if you didn't, and you don't want to miss another opportunity like that, I mean, really, one node would have paid for a year of service and the node, and you would have had some money left over. And that's not including how much money you're going to make every month from that. So like, these are the opportunities that we find, we bring into our community. We're working with a few other TA specialists now to have like live trading, what they would do in certain situations. Obviously, we're not financial advisors. All we can do is kind of post what we're looking at and what we're seeing in the charts, but there's a lot of value there. And it won't be for everybody, but the people that do spend the time in those, in those halls and read the information and come to my chats, they're the people that do the best, right? And with crypto, there's winners and then there's losers, right? If you're winning, somebody else is losing, right? Because if you're if you're taking massive profits, that means somebody else is buying in when you're taking those massive profits and you bought in a little bit earlier. So if you keep getting on the losing side of stuff, and you want to be on the winning side of things, find things early. And the best way to do that is join a community like mine. And if Cryptonaires isn't your answer, that's totally fine. But find somewhere that you fit in, find somewhere where there's good people, there's good information, and that could be extremely valuable, especially over the next couple of years, because I mean, these ETFs really are going to unlock just incredible amounts of money coming into the space. And once somebody gets really a taste of like Bitcoin, they're like, oh, I made a little bit of money here. What's this Solana ETF or this XRP ETF? That's really going to bring trillions of dollars more into the space. Tokenizing securities, tokenizing bonds, tokenizing derivatives. That's really the future of any market. If Larry Fink, who's the CEO of BlackRock, they have what, 10 trillion or something like that under management. I mean, he's out right now telling you that the future of markets are going to be on DLT, distributed ledger technology. And that's why I own something like, XRP, XLM, Algorand, these type of assets, because eventually I do think these assets are going to have a lot of money being transacted in those values in those networks. But we're still a little bit of ways away, right? We don't have regulation, right? Still, MiCA is coming in the European Union. It should go into effect later this year. You have the Markets and Infrastructure Bill in the UK. And there's different pockets around the world that have some type of crypto regulation. But the United States is still the biggest financial market in the world, and we kind of still don't know what the hell we're doing. And part of that could be because of the US dollar losing some of its supremacy around the world, and we could have that conversation if you want to. But whether the United States does it or not, these other countries see the value, these companies see the value, and we are just really at the start of just an enormous market. I think the next market should be anywhere from 6 to 8 trillion on the low side, and maybe 10 to 12 trillion on the high side. And that, what are we at today? I mean, just a couple trillion. So there's a long way to go for us for all this value to come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're actually, down a little. We're down 4.3% today. So 1.7 trillion. So that's where we're at. Yeah. We do have some questions from the audience. So let's bring up some of these here real quick. Are you familiar with Cava? Do you have any thoughts on Cava?
I am not familiar with Cava. I've heard of Cava. I don't own Cava. Let me just look it up on my end here really quickly, just to kind of get a refresh. We're at 77 cents here, $837 million market cap. I wish I could add value on Cava, but I really don't know enough to talk about it.
Okay, nope, that is totally fair. And let's talk a little bit about Biofi. We have a few people talking about Biofi. Send Biofi to the moon, boys. Just staked my Biofi. Tell us a little bit, Biofi. What are your thoughts on Biofi? What's new from your perspective? I have my updates on my side as well. I can talk about a few things, but Robert, start from your side.
So, I am the lead. Well, how do I put my role at Biofi? I am somebody that is trying to help out the Biofi community. I don't have a job title there. I don't get paid by them. I've never been paid by them to talk about them. But I talk with Brian, who's the CEO, a lot. I try to guide them into some new partnerships and new deals. And so I'm working behind the scenes to do my best to try to make that ecosystem as successful as possible. I do own the token. I've owned the token for a while. I do have about 70 million tokens, give or take, staked right now. Those do get unlocked later on this year. But I do think that we are right now we're in ICASA testing. After that, we go into Google testing. We should be through ICASA here very soon. I know Brian was just at CES in Las Vegas, and he had the phone with him, and he was talking with different partners and different things there. And so, I do think the Biofi ecosystem should have a good year in 2024. We do need to get the testing completed and done, and that should be done here in the next, maybe 6 to 8 weeks. I figure once we get through ICASA, we still have the Google testing, but then we can actually start taking orders. When I say Biofi can start taking orders on the phone, and then start producing them. And so in September, I went to China and I toured a place where those phones are going to be produced and manufactured. It was actually really cool. I shared a lot of that my journey with my community, and I did make a video on that too. But it should be a pretty exciting year for them. Obviously, we don't have a crystal ball on what's going to happen, but even if not a lot happen, it should even go up with as AVAX, as the token price of AVAX and that ecosystem gets more liquidity in it. You're going to get people that are going to want to invest in some projects on AVAX, and I think AVAX is probably going to be a very strong buy, in this next market, especially in the GameFi section as well on AVAX.
Yeah, absolutely. And on NFT side, so some of you are NFT holders. So we put out this NFT because they're looking to finance this first batch of phones. They're looking to put in a 15,000 phone order, and they're needing some money to do that. So we're selling this NFT. It has not sold very well, and I think the reason is how we structured it before was we're putting $10 from the sale of each phone into a pool. After a year, we're going to just distribute that to the NFT holders. But I think when people hear crypto and they hear a year, people alarm bells go off and they say, we're not doing anything in crypto for a year. That's like 100 years. I could be dead in a year. I'm not going to do that. So we're going to restructure this, and I'll do a full video on this later once I get this set up. But we're going to actually, instead of waiting a year to pay people out, we're going to do milestones instead. So after we get to 10,000 phones sold, we'll airdrop out everybody $100. After 20,000 phones sold, we'll airdrop out $200. So you won't have to wait a year to get this one lump sum, but each 10,000 phones sold, we will do an airdrop out. So you should start getting, we're going to do this first order for 15,000 phones. It could be sold out within the first week. I mean, we could sell it out the first day. I don't really know how it's going to work. But then you'll start getting those airdrops right away. So I think that will help kind of speed up the NFT process. Again, we're looking to do that to fund this first batch of phones. Then the profits from this first batch of phones should be able to pay for all phones going forward. So we're going to restructure that. I'll do a full video on it, but just wanted to keep you guys in the loop. The phone is still moving. Brian is so active. He's always telling me, he's always trying to get me to go with him places too. He's like, hey, I'm going to Cape Town next week. You want to come? And I'm like, hey, that's not something where I can just pick up, be like, hey, honey, I'm going to Cape Town tomorrow. I'll be gone for 2 weeks.
So he asked me to I guess because Chris Benedict, he doesn't like to travel, right? So Brian's kind of out there, the white knighting it by himself. And he'd like some support. And so I'm like, well, I'm not flying coach to South Africa, man. So, if you want to, if I'm going to be just giving my time, I'm not going to be flying coach. And that's maybe a shitty thing to say, but if you knew a little bit of backstory about my history on my body and the surgeries and things like that, it's really hard for me to kind of sit in a chair for 12, 14 hours. So I'm waiting for Brian to ask me about South Africa. I know he said he wanted to go kind of later this month, but I'll be sending him a business as a ticket, and we'll see what he says then. Because I'm not going on the coach.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I don't have back problems, but I'm the same boat. I'm just like, I can't sit and coach for. It's a good 16-hour flight if you go DC to Cape Town and. Man, that's a lot. So
and then you have babies crying and you have all that stuff. So
man. Usually they're mine that are crying. So let's see, Robert. Do you have thoughts, opinions on Caspa? Caspa's big name. What are your thoughts on it?
Caspa is a project that we actually brought up a long time ago in Kryptonaires. I think people bought in, maybe like half a penny. So they did I think a 2,500% gain on Caspa. I think Caspa's got a bright future. I think Caspa mining is pretty cool. And I don't know much about the team. I do know that I've made some money on Caspa. I took some profits, 10, 12 cents. I don't know if I'm going to be buying back into it. I mean, I could see Caspa going to $1 here, but I usually like to kind of cycle down my profits into some lower cap stuff and look for those higher gains. I don't know if I'd be buying into Caspa today, but I do think Caspa has a bright future ahead of itself.
Yep. Totally agree. Caspa's been a tough one because I keep thinking, oh, I missed it. Then the next day it's up another 10%. It's like, oh, well, now I surely missed it. And the next day it's up another 10%. So again, it's just hard to call these short-term plays, but go check out the team. If you like Caspa long-term, it's not done. I mean, we're at the start of a bull run. We're not at the end of a bull run. So just keep that in mind. If Caspa ends up being what it looks like it could be, we could see crazy appreciation in it. Not
Yeah,
financial advice.
and you know, like one thing that I had to learn in crypto is don't chase something. There's always going to be something else, right? And
True.
that was my biggest kind of failures when I started investing in crypto. I'd look at something popping and I'm like, oh, I got to get in, right? The FOMO gets you, or your friend sends you something. Oh, I'm making money, and then you kind of just blindly jump in without doing the research. You know, it's better to say, you know what, I missed that one, right? I'm gonna find something else that is just getting started. The best thing that you can do, the best piece of advice I can give you, is start looking into these new ecosystems that are being built out, like the SUI ecosystem. Is SEI? It's there's SUI and there's SEI. Go look at that. Metis, right? Metis was called in our community before that exploded. But there's all this stuff being built out, all this infrastructure. And if you can find a project early enough that has not yet built out all this infrastructure, start investing into it, right? Buy into the DEX, right? You know, if there's bridges, start using the bridges, qualifying for airdrops, right? There's just so many things that you can start doing rather than trying to chase something that's gone up,
Yeah.
3,000 or 4,000%. That's the best piece of advice probably I can give you, having all these years of experience now.
That is very good advice, because we comment if you ever have experienced FOMO. You see something going up and you're like, oh, I missed that. And then you feel like you're chasing. Like this happened with a lot of the meme coins with a lot of people in my community, where it's going up, and then you feel like, oh, you hear these cool stories about people making so much money. Well, let me get in now, and don't chase it. There'll be something else that comes up. So thank you. I think that's really good advice. That's maybe one of the best pieces of advice for newer people into crypto too, is don't get FOMO. There's lots of stuff.
Yep.
When node season was, me and you, Robert, both, we were trying to make sure, okay, which ones are today that we can get into. We were trying to make sure we didn't miss any of them. You don't have to do that. It'd be better to get in a few that you know a lot about than getting into 50. I got to the point where I started losing coins. Like I couldn't remember where I had nodes, and I'd find them, months later when they were at zero, and it's like, oh, I shouldn't have been in so many. So.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, James. And that was a great point. I when I got in 2021 bull market, I was in so many things, right? I was in gobs of projects, and I thought that was cool, right? Because I didn't want to miss anything. But the problem is when you get into that many projects, is tracking all of it, right? And knowing when to take profit. Because if you're in 50 or 100 different crypto projects, right? Maybe you have small bags in these, and you don't know. How are you going to know when to get out of that project, right? Because everything has a kind of a FOMO cycle, and you brought up meme coins, right? Meme coins all have the same trajectory, right? They launch, there's that FOMO, right? People take their money out, and then there's nothing, right? 99% of meme coins go to nothing, right? Very few turn into your Doges or your bonks or your things like that, right? And so taking profit, getting money out of that meme coin, and just having a smaller bag and saying, hey, I've made enough money on this project. This will stay in. If it goes to nothing, at least I took out, this profit. That's the mindset that you need to have going forward. Because if you just hold that token, remember, meme coins really don't have use cases, and they're all community driven. As soon as the community moves on to a different project, well, there's not much community there, and there's no technicals there, right? There's not a team building out infrastructure or something that really makes this project have value. So, anytime you're in a meme coin, watch the price of the token. There are a lot of scams. Invest. And I know this is kind of common sense, but find meme coins with pre-sales, right? If that's what you want to do, buy before the rest of the market, right? And take the profit, because if you don't, you're going to be holding, and it's going to go to nothing. And I've seen people have 50K bags of meme coins, 100K bags of meme coins, and they held on to them, and they went to absolutely nothing. And so, I'm good taking $5,000 out here, or $2,000 out there, and just moving on to the next one, because there's always going to be a next one.
Yep, absolutely, great advice there. Opinion on ICP and Kadina. But do you have an opinion on ICP and or Kadina?
Yeah, I think ICP is great. We were talking about ICP down where it was like $2, $3. I had 1,000 ICP. I sold a little bit when we hit like the $13 range. I need to jump back into it, but I do think ICP is probably one of the tokens that's going to have a very bright future. It'll still be around. I think Render is going to have a fantastic year. We were buying that, you know, at like $182. I think that went up to like $5. Somebody asked about Zynoes, and I'll take that question in a second, but I do think ICP is definitely going to have a bright future. But if you really, really want to make insane profits, look at the new ecosystems that are launching right now today, or right now in the next couple months, and invest in those early, right? And that's really where you're going to find the most success, right? Those layer twos that we talked about earlier on in this chat, focus on those. Start learning, like, what are these, right? How do I interact with these, right? Do these have airdrops? Are they confirmed? How can I farm these, right? Because if you can actually start farming those early, and if you get your airdrop and you don't sell it right away, I mean, think of what you could turn that into. I'll give you an example. Celestia. We called that out when it launched in the Kryptonaires at like $2.20. I think now, last time I looked at TIA, it was at, let me see. Celestia is right now is at $16. So that's gone up 800% since we announced it in Kryptonaires. I think Q&T announced it, so he did a really good job finding that. But if you would have taken that airdrop that you got from Celestia and kept it in there and staked those tokens, right, you would have qualified for other airdrops, right, and other free money, and then you would have had, you know, your token still. So there's different ways that you can do this, but taking those airdrops that you're getting, don't selling them right away, staking them in the ecosystem, right? Injective is a fantastic community. I actually looked at the last chat we did like 2 months ago. We were talking about Injective at like $16, right? And if you would have bought that, I mean, Injective today I think is at 37, right? You'd have had 100% gain in 2 months just on that one thing that we were talking about. So we talked about Constellation DAG. There was all these different things that we talked about in that session, and those things went up hundreds of a percentage. So definitely be smart. Injective, Solana. There's a few other ones. Celestia. I'm staking Celestia right now to try to get the Milky Way airdrop. You can actually stake TIA to get what is it? It's Milk TIA, I think, and then you can use that to stake in other things. So I'm farming 2 or 3 different wallets for that. There's just so many things that you can do to make more money on what you want to do. Somebody asked about Zynoes. Is it still worth getting into? That is up to you, right? Nodes are eventually going to be up to 30 Ethereum each. So nodes are eventually go to $50,000, $60,000 for Zynoes. Okay, right now they're about $2,700, $2,800. They did announce that there's going to be a season 2 of airdrops. Now it's going to take you a little bit more time to get your money back, because now you're, instead of buying it $300 to $400, you're buying it, you know, almost $3,000. But I do think it's still very early for that ecosystem. They have tons of partnerships. They're on Binance. They're on KuCoin. I mean, it's really one of those ecosystems that you should be paying attention to right now. And just know this: if you are in America, you need to KYC, and it's going to be hard for you to do that unless you have an address and things outside. They do KYC. They do say people in America cannot do this. So I spend time in Brazil. I have mail that comes to Brazil. I was able to KYC on my nodes with my Brazilian address, and so I got through that KYC process. But if you are in America, there are things that you can do to work your way around that. But now is probably not the best time for me to kind of tell you that, just in case the Zia node people end up watching this down the line. But there are some things you can do to get around it. But I do think that's a fantastic ecosystem you should be paying attention to.
Hop into Kryptonaires for more info on how to do that. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. So we talked about Psy. When will you do that? So the Biofi NFTs, it's already going. So I haven't updated the website yet, and I haven't done an official video announcing it. But we are going to do that. The first 10,000, after the first 10,000, I'll change all the language on the website. After the first 10,000, we will go ahead and start the airdrop, and we'll do every 10,000. So if you mint one now, it will apply to that. And everybody who's already minted one, I know a lot of my community's already minted one. It will apply retroactively. So that's how we'll do it. So basically nothing's changing, except for you'll get your payouts. Instead of one lump at the end, you'll get some ongoing. And that'll be a better way, honestly, too, to keep you updated on how we're doing, rather than, you know, after a year, some people would probably email me and say, hey, how did we do? This way you'll see, oh, I got 100 this day. And I hope, we had this lady in South Africa. Where'd she go? She says they're going to sell 2 million phones in 2024. That's what she said. Okay, Yaliwe Soko. And if that happens, we'll be airdropping out a lot of money. Okay, like 20K to you guys, and I hope that's what happens. I hope every NFT holder buys $500 NFT, gets 20K back. That would be amazing. So that's my goal.
2 million phones. It would definitely take a little bit of time
Yes.
to produce that many phones. You got to, but honestly, if the phone does well and MTN steps in and says, hey, I want to order, 500,000 phones or something like that, right? They have a Verizon partnership where they're going to be creating a 5G version. Obviously, that's going to be more expensive, but that'll be for the US and Canada and the UK market, right? And so you'll probably see a 5G version get created this year. It has to go through the same type of testing, but there is a lot of value in that ecosystem. And I was talking to Brian about working out some stuff with, getting more businesses involved with the metaverse training. I think that is, could be a huge market as well. And, building out training instances for other companies. I think there's a lot of money to be involved in that. So there's a lot of different things in that ecosystem that are good that, you can focus on too.
Yep, absolutely. Totally agree. And Brian's a great guy. So I love working with Brian. And yeah, I think this will be a good move for all NFT holders. And so hopefully we'll get those minted out. I have a few things we're going to be. Am I allowed to announce this? I think so. Yeah, sure. But Alpha Shares is doing they're launching 2.0 of their NFT marketplace, and Biofi is going to be one of the featured NFTs on the launch. So cool. I think that'll get a lot of eyes on it too. So I love the Alpha Shares guys too. We go way back, and good stuff there. Opinion on drip. That's got to be a troll. Dane, you don't actually want to know opinion on drip. Drip's dead. Okay. It has been for a long time. Don't do the ROI daps. If some people are getting into Monstros degens, which is totally fine. Just understand. And I even appreciate this. They put .fun in the URL because you just have to understand that this is a game. Okay. This is not an investment. This is not a way. Is not some place to put your IRA money or anything like that. This is a game. I put in 3BNB live on my video the other day. Some people were upset. Why? What are Christians doing gambling? Things like that. But it's just a game. Okay, it's a game of, do you want to claim? Do you want to reinvest? How do you want to play it? They've got 2,000 BNB that has been put into this, so it's a big game. But it is just a game. So that's how all these ROI DApps should be treated, in my opinion, separate from investments.
Get in early.
Yeah, get in early. Yeah, very good point. If you're not in early, because once the deposits stop, it's hard to get your money back. Now, Monstros is doing something a little different where if you don't ROI, they're going to transfer your balance to their farms. Now, their farms are actual yield farms. I don't know the URL though. Oh no, this is embarrassing. But there we go. Their farms are actual yield farming. So they're actually getting a return from yield farming, which I tell people, yield farming, when we get into a bull market, anytime there's a gold rush, the pickaxe salesmen are who really make a lot of money. And that's basically what yield farming is you're putting your liquidity out there so that when the bull market happens and everybody's going crazy and buying and selling, like we're seeing huge volumes here already. The yield farmers are soaking up all of those transaction fees. So yield farming is something I can get behind. And so Monstros has a yield farming NFT as well. So good question on that. But don't, baked beans, if it comes back, these ROI DApps are going to come back. Okay. Just I know when the bull market comes, we're going to start seeing them. You guys should see I have a collab request form. It's getting filled up with ROI DApps. And, I'm Crypto Jimbo. So everybody's like, hey, you'll love to do this, won't you? And I've been telling them all, Monstros is the only one I've said yes to. All the others I've said, I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested in this. So just be cautious, guys. Be cautious. Why the dislike of Kadina? It's just a sore subject. I have 3 Kadina miners. And Bitmain, I bought 3 Kadina miners from Gold Shell. Bitmain came out with a miner that is far superior, and it made all of my miners worthless. So I'm just bitter about it. But I think Kadina is a good project. Honestly, they're doing some cool things. They're not great at marketing. which if anybody from the Kadina team is watching, if you'd like to market more, get in touch because I hold a lot of Kadina. I'm sitting on like 20,000 Kadina. At one point, it was at $28. If it gets back to all-time high, I will appreciate that. But it's been sitting at 50 cents here for the last long while. So that's my dislike of Kadina.
It'll probably get back, James. Gotta wait for retail to fully come back.
Yeah, I hope so. But this is what happened, just to highlight. So I had a gold shell KD5. Let's see where that is. So my KD5, which I paid $50,000 for, was making $250 a day at one point. Now it's making negative $4 a day. So I don't even have it on right now. But the problem is it's 18 terahash for 2250 watts. So 18 terahash, 2250 watts. Bitmain came out with a machine, the KS3, 9.4 terahash for 3500 watts. So it's hardly any more power, but it is like 10 times as much processing power. So Bitmain is way better at making machines. I would recommend don't buy any miners that are not Bitmain. That would be my advice on the mining side of things. All right. Well, anything else we want to talk about? I think there's hours.
I think there's one other thing that we probably should discuss. Storage Chain. I know you did an AMA with them. They are going to get listed on a centralized exchange. They made an announcement. I don't know if I can quite say what exchange it is yet, but it should happen on the 17th. I think it's the 16th or 17th. I think there's a pre-sale or something happening on the 16th, but I think it happens on the 17th. And I think it's, you know what? I can tell you exactly when it's going to happen. Give me a second. I have the keys to the kingdom, James.
Yes.
I'm running a lot of nodes there. I do think they're going to have a fantastic year. If you look, the hot buttons in crypto right now, guys, if you're just kind of new to crypto, DPEN, which is decentralized infrastructure, that's going to be big. GambleFi, GameFi, Layer 2s, like these are really the places that you should be focused the most on right now, because those are going to have the most money coming into them over the next couple of years. So if you just get good at one area, that's really going to help you get better at making money out here. So let me see here. It's a long conversation. I think it's the 17th. Hold on. Do you want to talk about something else, James, while I find this?
Sorry. Oh, yeah. I suppose I should. A good YouTuber would fill the air. I was thinking about something else. I was thinking about Transact Card. I don't know if anybody here in Transact Card. So that's the new debit card that's coming out with really high rewards. If you aren't familiar with that, what else have I been excited about here recently?
16th at 7 a.m. Pacific time.
That's when the
Monday the 15th, there's a Kickstarter campaign. Tuesday the 16th, 7 a.m. As soon as they announce the exchange, it is a top 20 exchange. It's nothing to bat your eyes at, so that's good. And I know that they're going to be talking with other exchanges too. And I think the market cap on that's still like 300 grand or something like that. So I do, anytime something gets listed, it usually has a little bit of hype around it. That should bring a little bit more liquidity into the project. But yeah, I'm running 80 terabytes of nodes. I make about 800,000 tokens a month in rewards. And so right now, if we just looked at like 2 cents, it would be about 16 grand a month that I would get back from those nodes. And I actually get to keep the collateral too, which is nice. So I think they're going to have a good year. I'm really excited about that, but look out on Tuesday for that. That's going to get listed, and hopefully that'll help out the market cap and liquidity of that token, and it'll start rising as a lot of other stuff. There more partnerships going to be announced this month. A lot of stuff is happening with that team, so I'm very excited about that too.
Awesome. Yeah, and like you said, anytime we get a centralized exchange listing, not anytime, but usually you'll see some kind of boost. Okay, so just plan accordingly with that. Good to see you, brother. $4 a day to heat your house isn't too bad. Hey, fair point, man. Fair point. I do have that. I don't know, Robert, if you've ever looked at it, but it's a Bitcoin miner. It's a space heater that also mines Bitcoin.
I've seen that.
What was the name of it? I can't remember the name of it, but
I don't know. I could see somebody having like 20 heaters in their house and the power keeps going off because those things kind of knock the power off. You're like,
I have one. And yes, the only thing is it dries the air out really badly. So you can't use it in a room that you actually want to live in. So then you can't really use it as a space heater. So they need to kind of work on that. It dries out the air. Like my nose was I'd walk into the room, my nose would just start bleeding. So yeah.
Something to work on. The next version will have a moisturizer, probably.
Yeah, humidifier.
Humidifier. There you go.
Kadina over $1 now. Oh, see, man, I'm glad I did this live. Now I'm excited. Kadina over $1. If we can get to $200, I'd have like $4 million worth of Kadina. That'd be very awesome. Let's see. We got any more questions before we wrap up here? We're about in an hour. This is when I'm starting to feel like, hey, we should wrap up here. Robert's got things to do, In Cryptonair's membership, what type of trades do you focus on? Small, mid cap, short term, or midterm, etc.
That's a great question. So there's a little bit of everything. There's people that are talking about projects before they launch, right? There's people talking about your ICPs, right, which are kind of the larger mid caps. It's really a gambit of all of that stuff, right? So some people are trading. I like to deal in facts. So let me just kind of go over some recent things that we've talked about. So
I can learn from that.
Recent trades that we're talking about. Ethereum name service. We posted about that. It's up 170%. We're talking about FET and SAND. 1K to 10K still holding the same. So we did a challenge in the community where this went up. QNT posted a challenge from 1,000 to 10,000. He completed that challenge, which is great. We're talking about Jito. We're talking about Starknet. Starknet's going to be pretty big. You should pay attention to that. SIA, Scale. I just bought Scale actually a few days ago. We've been talking about that. That's just the team talking. That's not the community talking, because we actually have a community. We have a trades channel for the team and we have a trades channel for the community. And so, GameBex, there's all kinds of different things that the community's posted. Injective. There's so much stuff here, man. We've been talking about Woo for a while. There's just all kinds of different stuff. And this is just people taking different trades and what they're doing. We also have a technical analysis section where people are posting live charting and good entry points into some tokens and kind of what to look out for. There's so much information in there. If you really want to go to one place that has all of this stuff kind of detailed in there for you, it's a good place. And
is Professor Keith still hanging out with you quite a bit?
Yeah, we have a membership with Professor Keith still. We are bringing in a few other people to just be there live doing TA in the community. Keith, we send people over to Keith's community to kind of learn. And so I wanted to be able to still provide charting and opportunities inside the community live. And so I'm bringing on 2 other TA experts, and we actually have a partnership with another TA community. We're going to be pairing their Discord channels to ours. So whenever they're posting in their channel, it goes right into our channel. So you're going to have new challenges. You're going to have a lot more charting. There's just going to be a lot more value for your money. And whatever you're trying to do, whether you're farming airdrops, you're trying to invest in nodes, or if you're trying to find new projects before they launch, we have it all. We really do.
Okay, very good. Love it. And do you have admins that can help noobs, or is it better suited for advanced people?
No. So Tim, it's funny. I'll give you an example of somebody that was brand new. So Andreas, she was brand new to crypto December 2022. She didn't know much about anything, but she's been in the community learning for a whole year. She knows more about TA than I do now. She's an incredible. And so it really is a community where you can ask questions, you can get help. There's regular people in there. Even people that are not on the team are there to answer questions, but we have a really good mod team. And so if you need help understanding something or learning something, and you want to ask a question, and you really just need help and you don't want to get scammed, that's a great place to be asking questions. And if you can't get the answers from the community, you can always directly message me and I'll do what I can to help you learn, help you understand. I had a meeting with somebody that was new to the community, brand new to crypto. I met with him for an hour and answered all of his questions. And so I obviously don't have time to do that for everybody, but you know, we'll certainly do the best we can to help you learn. And like I said, these 2 live chats a week, they are recorded so you can come back to them. I go through what's happening in the market. I go through new projects we're looking at. I go through, you know, these layer 2s. I go through these airdrops. I go through these node projects. If you just watch those 2 chats a week, you're going to be pretty up to date on what's going on in crypto around the world. And yeah, you can use that information to better your life, because that's what all this whole thing is about.
Absolutely. So we'll end with the well, what's the best DeFi plays to get into? I mean, you know, some of the node projects that Cryptonaires talks about, those are always pretty good. Storage Chain, I really like Storage Chain. I've been using Storage Chain for all of my like storage, my web storage. I've actually been using it, and I think as more people do that, it's way cheaper than using Dropbox or Drive. It works actually a lot better. It's more secure.
It is.
So those types of things. I mean, warbots are still going really well. If you consider that DeFi, it's, you know, crypto trading. 2 years green. I mean, we're starting to get, that's looking pretty good. Still, I think we had 6% return last month on warbots. So that's good. I don't know. Do you have any favorite DeFi plays right now, Rob?
So, I mean, if we're talking about bots, we just worked out a deal with the community I was telling you about. Is they do Elevate bots, and they do stuff with Astrobit, and those are the type of I think in the last 3 months, one of our members is up like 180% on using those bots. And so we actually have help if you need to come in and start learning on how to use these tools. We have a whole section for trading bots, and we actually have people there to help you kind of get set up. But yeah, I mean, I'm all in on DeFi. I mean, you know, the projects that I'm most focused on right now, like I said, we just got through the Zygames. I think, you know, I'm still building out a few more nodes on Storage Chain. I really do think, you know, if DPIN is going to be successful, I mean, you're talking about a $500 billion industry by 2030, right? And so even if you got a sliver of that, right? You look at something like Filecoin, it's got like $2.6 billion market cap, right? Arweave, right? There's so many of these projects that have hundreds of millions of market cap. If Storage Chain even goes to like a $5 or $10 million market cap, it'll make some people in our community millionaires just on that one project. So I do think you know, that there's a bright future in decentralized infrastructure, and that's one of the projects I'm really bullish on. But there's just so much stuff to talk about. I mean, we could stay here for another hour going through all these projects, but you know, finding this stuff early is always the best opportunity. Don't chase. You know, there's always going to be another opportunity, even if it doesn't feel like it, and just don't buy into the FOMO. If you kind of follow some of those rules, you're going to be successful out here. It's going to be hard not to make money in this market. So just understand you're going to have dips. Dips are a good time to DCA and buy a little bit more. And as we really get into this full-fledged bull market, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to make a lot of money and use that money to change your life and better it.
Okay. Yep. Totally agree. So we'll go ahead and wrap up here. We'll end this snowy Friday. Audience, appreciate you guys. It's really good to see you. Don't forget, tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central, I'll do just a hangout. Just ask me anything. We can talk about whatever. Open book here, so we can talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. We'll talk about tomorrow. Appreciate. Really good to see you guys. Robert, always a pleasure to have you. Again, we're going to try to have you back at least once a month. I'm going to once again pitch Cryptonaires. If you like crypto and you want to make money during the bull market in crypto, I highly recommend at least trying the 7-day free trial. I will leave this link once again for you all. But Robert, thank you for coming on, sharing your expertise, and we'll look forward to talking more with you.
It's an honor, James. Thanks for having me. And everyone, thank you at home for watching. And I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. And I hope you make a lot of money in this next bull market.
Awesome. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.